Welcome to my video series on LGBTQ+ issues in primary schools. My name is Joanna Brett. I'm a trainee clinical psychologist with First Steps, a CAMHS service in Hackney. Today's video is the third in the series, and it's on gender stereotypes. In the UK, everybody has their own ideas about what a typical man or woman or boy or girl looks like. These ideas come from what we see in the world, not just in the form of representation in the media, but also from the behaviours of those around us and the pressures we put on ourselves to fit in. We won't all have exactly the same ideas as other people, but there will be a lot of places where our ideas overlap with each other. And when specific ideas are shared by enough people, they become a stereotype. Stereotypes are powerful. We often unconsciously predict that people will act like the stereotype we hold in our minds, and are surprised when they don't. Gender stereotypes can be particularly powerful because they're often tied in with deep-seated cultural ideas. For example, ideas around what polite behaviour looks like, being ladylike, being gentlemanly, or ideas about the roles of men and women. This means that as well as being surprised when someone doesn't act in line with our stereotype, we might also be unconsciously disapproving. For example, saying things like, "That's not very ladylike," or "You're not being a very brave boy," or "You're being a bossy girl." And while adults are hopefully able to be reflective about stereotypes and how much they rely on them, children are much less able to reflect. Children are always taking in information about how the world works, and they're very good at picking up on surprise and disapproval to tell them they've done something wrong. And children, like all humans, have a strong drive to fit into a group and to protect that group and their place within it. Part of this means policing people who break the group rules, and this means that as soon as children learn about gender stereotypes, they start enforcing gender rules. For example, a group of girls telling a boy, "You can't play with us because you're a boy." Or boys telling a girl, "Girls don't play football." Or a young boy hearing from other people, "Why would you want to do ballet? Isn't that for girls?" Many people, both inside and outside of the LGBTQ+ community, find gender stereotypes constricting, but they are particularly relevant to the LGBTQ+ community because they're often used to other those people and their place in society. Since behaving in a way which is read as gay or as outside of the gender you've been assigned at birth is definitely seen as breaking the gender rules. Now, it's during early and middle childhood that many of these core beliefs about gender roles are learned. While this information is absorbed everywhere, like water into a sponge, school plays a particularly important role. This means that school staff have key opportunities to widen the understanding of gender stereotypes, rather than letting them confine or exclude some children. In the final video in this series, I'm going to talk in more detail about how you can address stereotypes in school. But in the meantime, I'd like to encourage you to reflect on gender stereotypes that might be present in your classrooms and start to think creatively about how you can change these. For example, are you more likely to encourage a boy to play football and a girl to play nicely, meaning without noise or competitiveness? When planning productions, are you more likely to cast a boy as the hero and a girl as the princess needing to be rescued? What messages does that give to children? How might you start to mix it up a bit in future? Okay. Coming up next is going to be a video on the taboo of LGBTQ+ identities. I hope you'll join me for that.